Feedback is the subject of my doctorate presentation. I'm not going to get into all the research, but if you would like to, please hit me up on LinkedIn. But I'd like you to imagine that you have a teenager and your teenager brings home a report card that is mostly A's and a couple of B's, but there is one D. And where would you spend most of your time talking about? Now, if you're like the hundreds of people I've presented this scenario to, you're probably going to spend most of your time focused on the D. And that is because we have a negative bias. Those bad things stand out to us, and we have this urge to rush in and to fix that. And when we think about this in the world of feedback, that bad is also stronger than the good. And yet we know that that sort of feedback, paying attention only to the gaps, not only can it be ineffective, it doesn't often change the performance that we want to see, it can also damage relationships. Because if the only time that you're talking with employees or other people is to provide them with corrective feedback, that relationship is going to wear thin pretty quickly. So there are a few things that we know in the world of feedback. First of all, we know that it is a great topic of interest. There are hundreds of articles written about feedback in the workplace, also in educational psychology, also in sports psychology. Feedback is a huge topic of interest. And generally, when we provide feedback to somebody else, it's with the intent of improving their performance. But since feedback is so often focused on the gap, it can fail to deliver and sometimes even make that performance worse. When that happens, employees have a negative perception of the manager because your feedback didn't work. It means that employees will trust the manager less because your feedback didn't work. And then they're not going to come and ask you for more feedback. There's a negative impact on that feedback-seeking behavior. This all results in potentially poor performance and bad relationships. So we know there are a few key components here. First of all, employees need to see their managers as caring, as competent, as trustworthy in order to even receive the feedback in the first place. We know that when somebody is new at a task, they tend to prefer positive feedback and feel more motivated by that. But as they attain a certain level of mastery, they're more open to negative or constructive feedback. So the perception of the manager matters, where the employee is in their learning curve matters, and the quality of the feedback matter. So in my research, what I'm really interested in is a particular style of feedback that can improve performance. It can improve the employee's self-confidence and self-efficacy. It can improve the relationship between the employee and the manager. And it can enhance that feedback-seeking behavior. And that is positive feedback. Now, we can give positive feedback to people all the time. We don't have to wait till an end of the year performance evaluation. And in fact, we should not be waiting for that end of the year performance evaluation. And we can deliver many different flavors of positive feedback: gratitude, acknowledgement, recognition, compliments, appreciation. And this can be spoken in the moment, very casual, short interactions about something that has gone well, absolutely, but also something that is working well right now. We don't even need to wait till the end of a project to be able to acknowledge or appreciate somebody else. Positive feedback absolutely has this potential to create these upward spirals of trust and performance. So we don't have to think about, am I person focused or am I task focused? We can get both of those together through these little moments of positive feedback. What does it take to deliver that? Being mindful, being aware, being in that place to observe and engage with somebody else, and having those positive filters. Look for the good in that mindful way. What are those positive outcomes? Where is there positive progress? Where is somebody else making good efforts? Where do you see evidence of learning? And I do want to remind us that positive feedback is feedback. We don't have to give a good and then a bad, please don't do the sandwich. Positive feedback is just swoop in, appreciate the other person, and then leave. So the next time your teenager comes home with that A's and B's and just the one D, you might want to think about, where are you putting your attention?